Hi, today we're looking at Functional Skills Maths Level 1. This is the Training Qualifications UK exam board, and we've got examination paper 3. So we're going to start with the non-calculator section. Question 1. Work out 620 times 1000. So we've got 620 multiplied by 1000. So basically we're going to add 1, 2, 3 zeros on the end. And we come back from the end, 1, 2, 3 to put our comma in. So we've got 620,000. Question 2. Work out 6 squared. Well, 6 squared means 6 times itself. Not 6 times 2, but 6 times itself. The 2 tells us how many times we've got it. Well, 6 times 6, you've got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. And we can put that straight in the answer box. Question 3. Work out 13 divided by 10. Okay, so we've got 13. Now, if we're dividing, we're going to be making the number smaller. And we're dividing by 10. So we're going to start off by thinking, well, where would the decimal point be in this number? Well, we haven't got any decimals, so the decimal point is there. There's like an invisible decimal point with zeros after it. We're making the number smaller by 1 place, because 1, 0, so we're going to move that decimal point once into there. So we've got an answer of 1.3. Question 4. Work out 2,840 times 5. So we'll do this as a column multiplication. Start with the units. So 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Or you could do 4 times 5, whichever you find more straightforward. 5 times 8 or 8 times 5, what should we do? Let's do 8 times 5. Let's do the 5 times table. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Plus the 2 makes it 42. Carry the 4. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus the 4 is 14. So we've got 14,200. Question 5. There are 20 sweets in a bowl. There are 12 lemon sweets, 8 chocolate sweets. 1 sweet is chosen at random. What is the probability that a chocolate sweet is chosen? Okay, so we've got 20 in total. The chocolate ones are the ones we're interested in, and we've got 8 of them. So it's going to be 8 out of 20. And in fact, we can put that straight in the answer box. This will simplify. If you want to simplify it, that's fine, but it's only worth 1 mark. So you won't get any more marks if you simplified it. You could simplify it to 4/10 or 2/5, but this is going to get you exactly the same number of marks. Okay. Question 6. 6 centimetres represents 24 kilometres on a map. What does 8 centimetres represent? Okay, so if 6 represents 24, well, maybe we can work out what 1 centimetre would be. So if we do 24 divided by 6, so let's do our 6 times table. We've got 6, 12, 18, 24. So that's 4. So what that means is 1 centimetre represents 4 kilometres. Okay, we've just used this and we've scaled it down. If we want to know what 8 centimetres represent, well, that's just going to be 8 lots of this. Because 1 times 8 is 8, so we want 4 times 8. And 4 times 8, we've got 8, 16, 24, 32. So it's going to be 32 kilometres. Question 7. Put these fractions in order starting with the lowest. We've got 1.5, 1 5/6, 1 2/3, 1 3/4. So I'm actually going to do it in the opposite order. I think it's easier to say, well, which is the biggest fraction? And because they all start with a 1, I'm going to ignore the 1. And we're just comparing the fractions. Well, which is the biggest fraction? Well, 5/6 is going to be the biggest. Then, so I'm looking at the denominators because they're each just 1, the numerator's 1 less than the denominator. So the next biggest would be 3/4. Then it's going to be 2/3. And finally it's going to be the 1.5. If you want to do it from lowest to highest, fine. I just found it easier to do it in the opposite order. Question 8. Anand pays £1,200 into a new savings account. The savings account pays 5% interest each year. How much money will be in the savings account after 1 year? Okay, so what we can do is work out what 5% is and then add it on to the original amount. Well, instead of going straight for 5%, I'm going to work out 10% of 1,200 because that's nice and easy. Because all you do is you just take a 0 off. So it's going to be £120. And if we want 5%, well, 5 is half of 10. So 5% of this, well, we just want 120 divided by 2. So let's do that over here using the bus stop method. 2 doesn't go into 1, 2 goes into 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That's 6 times. 2 goes into 0, 0 times. So 5% is £60. So we've got our original £1,200. We're adding on an extra £60 of interest. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 6 is 6. 2 plus nothing is 2. And 1 plus nothing is 1. So he's now got £1,260. Question 9. Nikki has walked every day for the past 5 days. The table shows how many miles Nikki has walked. So Monday 2.86 miles, Tuesday 3.5, and so on. Nikki thinks the mean number of miles walked per day is less than 2.65 miles. Is Nikki correct? Okay, well, let's work out the mean. So if we want the mean, we need the total and then divide it by the frequency or how many we've got. Okay, so let's add these all up. So we've got 2.86, 3.5, 2.6, 2.74 and 1.8. What you can do is we can put some zeros in here just to makes it easier to see what we're adding together. So we've got 6 plus 0 plus 0 plus 4 is 10. And another 0, so it's still 10. 8 plus 5 is 13. Plus 6 is 19. Plus 7 is 26. Plus 8 is 34. Plus 1 more is 35. Put our decimal point. 2 plus 3 is 5. Plus 2 is 7. Plus another 2 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. Plus 3 gives us 13. So we've got 13.5 miles. Now, how many? We've got 5 days. So we want 13.5 divided by 5. So let's use our bus stop method. 5 doesn't go into 1, but 5 goes into 13. 5, 10. So that's twice with 3 left over. 11, 12, 13. Put our decimal point. And 5 into 35 is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. That's 7 times. So we've got a mean of 2.7 miles. Well, 2.7 is more than 2.65 miles. Nikki thinks the mean number of miles walked per day is less than 2.65. No, it's more. We've just shown that. So the answer is no. And that's the end of the non-calculator section. Okay, so now we're on to the calculator section. Question 1. What size angle is a clockwise turn from east to southeast? Right, so let's think of our compass directions. So we've got north at the top, south at the bottom. We can think never eat shredded wheat. So we want a clockwise turn from east, so we're starting this way, to southeast. Well, southeast would be halfway in between, so we're turning this way. Well, each of these would be a right angle, 90 degrees. If we're going halfway in the middle, well then it's going to be 90 divided by 2. So we can use a calculator to give us an answer of 45. Question 2. Calculate the range of these numbers. Well, the range is the biggest number minus the smallest, or the difference between them. Well, the biggest is 9,850. The smallest is 1,050. So you want 9,850 minus 1,050. Let's use our calculator again. And we get 8,800. Question 3. Use this data to complete the grouped frequency table below. Okay, so we've got lots of values up here. We've got our groups from 1 to 20. So you can do it in different ways. You could do it as a tally chart. I'm going to look for all the numbers that are between 1 and 20, and I'm going to go across each row. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just 4 I've counted. And you can see I'm crossing them off. This stops me from double counting. Now I want any numbers between 21 and 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, that's rather a lot. Okay. And then we want numbers between 41 and 60. We've got 1 there. 2. And they want the total. Let's use our calculator again. 4 plus 9 plus 2 gives us 15. Question 4. A company has 45 part-time employees. This is 1/9 of the total number of employees that work for the company. How many employees work for the company in total? Well, if this is 1/9, the total would be 9/9. So in other words, we want 9 lots of 45, which is 405 employees. Question 5. Estimate 0.34 as a fraction. Use your fraction to estimate the answer to 0.34 times 720. Now they've said estimate. So what you don't want to do is put 34 over 100, because that's the exact answer. That's not an estimate. So what they want you to do is say, well, what's it close to? What do you recognise? Well, I know that this is close, approximately equal to 0.3333 recurring, which is otherwise known as a third. So what we can do is say, well, what we want with this is we want 1/3 times 720. Or in other words, 720 divided by 3. Which gives us 240. Question 6. Caden wants 6 dining room chairs. Caden sees these offers online. So we've got offer A, we've got a set of 6 chairs, which is what he wants. Was £634, now 1/8 off. Or offer B, the chairs at £138.70 each, but you buy 2 and you get 1 free. Caden wants to buy the chairs that cost the least amount of money. Which offer should Caden choose? Right, so if we're going with this one, we get 1/8 off. So we could calculate 1/8 and take it away. But you can also think, well, if 1/8's taken off, well, that's going to leave us with 7/8 of the price to pay. So we want 7/8 of £634. So 7 divided by 8 times 634. And that gives us £554.75p. Now, let's look at offer B. We want 6 chairs. Buy 2, get 1 free. So we get 2 plus 1, that's a free one. That's 3. So we're going to need to buy another 2, which is 5, and then we get another 1 free. So that's 6 chairs, but we're only paying for 4 of them. So we want 4 times £138.70. Which gives us £554 or 0.8, because it's money, it's going to be 80p. Caden wants to buy the chairs that cost the least amount of money. Well, £554.75 is less than £554.80, so Caden should choose offer A. It's not a lot, and I haven't asked you to work it out, but hopefully you can see it's only 5p difference, but that doesn't matter. They said which one costs the least amount of money? It's offer A. Question 7. Jamie receives £3,050. Jamie wants to pay the money into a savings account and a current account in the ratio 1:4. So what that means is every £1 that goes into the savings account, £4 going to go into the current account. How much money should Jamie put into their savings account? Well, the first thing they want to do is that even if you weren't sure what to do with this question at all, you'd get a mark just for writing this number in figures. So £3,050. So £3,050. Okay. Now I'm going to draw a ratio table, and we've got savings account and a current account, and we've got a total. And every £1 in savings, £4 in current. So if that's all we had, we would have a total of 5. But actually, the total amount of money we've got is £3,050. So we've got to think how we're getting from 5 up to £3,050. How many lots of these rows do we need? And we do that working backwards. So we say 3,050 divided by 5. Which is 610. So basically it's saying, well, we've multiplied 5 by 610 to get to this row. So we need to do the same with each of these. In fact, we don't have to do all of them because they're just asking about the savings account. So we could just say 1 times 610 is 610 and put that straight in our answer box. Okay. But they could equally have asked you how much would be in the current account, and then you do 4 times 610 instead. Question 8. Riley's car achieves 32.5 miles per gallon. Riley wants to increase this by 25%. How many miles per gallon does Riley want to achieve? Give your answer to 2 decimal places. Okay, so we want to work out 25% of this and then add it on. So that's going to be 25 out of 100 times 32.5. There's other ways of doing this, but this is probably going to be the way a lot of you will approach it, I imagine. So we're getting 8.125, and then we want to add that onto the original, which was our 32.5 miles. Miles per gallon, which gives us 40.625. But they said give your answer to 2 decimal places. Well, that would be 2 decimal places, but we have to look at the next digit and say if it's less than 5, we just ignore it. If it's 5 or more, which it is, we're going to need to increase this by 1. So we're going to make it 40.63 miles per gallon. Question 9. Sam needs to feed some animals on a farm. The list below shows how much animal feed is needed. So enclosure A needs 5.45 kilograms, enclosure B needs 950 grams, and enclosure C needs 800 grams. Sam thinks less than 7,000 grams of animal feed are needed. Is Sam correct? So we want to add these together, but one's in kilograms, the others are in grams. So what we're going to do is convert this into grams, because we've got 2 in grams, so it's easy to just convert 1. Well, we've got 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. So if we wanted to convert this into grams, we need to multiply it by 1,000. So 5.45 times 1,000 gives us 5,450. And I'm just going to write these over here. 800. And then we're going to add these all together. So I've got this in my calculator already. Can add on 950 and 800, and we get 7,200, which is more than 7,000. Something's less than 7,000 grams are needed. Is Sam correct? No, we've shown it's more. Question 10. Kai goes to a safari park and sees these animals. We've got a lion that weighs 110 kilograms and eats 15% of their body weight in food each day. There's also a cheetah that weighs 72 kilograms and eats 20% of their body weight in food each day. Which animal eats the most food in total each day? So not the percentages, the actual amount of food. Show how you decide. Okay, so let's do the lion first. So what we want is 15%, or 15 out of 100, of, or times, their original weight, which was 110 kilograms. So we want 15 divided by 100 times 110, which is 16.5 kilograms. Now with the cheetah, they eat 20%, so it's going to be 20 out of 100 times 72, which is their body weight. So 20 divided by 100 times 72 gives us 14.4 kilograms. Which animal eats the most? Well, 16.5 is greater than 14.4, so it's going to be the lion. Question 11. Nilam has a doctor's appointment at 11:20. The bus ride takes 45 minutes. It is then a quarter of an hour walk to the doctor's clinic. Can Nilam get to the appointment in time by catching the 10:35 a.m. bus? Right, so we've got times, we've got 11:20 a.m, we've then got 45 minutes, we've got a quarter of an hour. So let's turn this quarter into minutes. So a quarter of an hour, hopefully you'll know that quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. But if you don't know, hopefully you do know there's 60 minutes in an hour, and you can say, well, what's a quarter, 1 divided by 4, of 60 minutes, which still gives us 15. Okay, so we've got 45 minutes on the bus and 15 minutes walk. In total, that's 60 minutes, otherwise known as 1 hour. So if we're going to catch the 10:35 a.m. bus, we add on an hour that it's going to take. That's the bus ride and the walk afterwards. Well, that's going to increase the hour, keep the minutes the same. So we'll get there at 11:35 a.m. because it's still before midday. Well, that is after 11:20. So no, they can't get there on time. They'll miss their appointment. Question 12. Harper wants to paint this wall. So we've got 2.5 metres high and 8.16 metres across. Harper knows that 1 tin of paint will cover 6 metres squared. How many tins of paint will Harper need to buy to paint the whole wall? Okay, so we want to work out the area. And the area of a rectangle is equal to the length times the width, which in this case is going to be 8.16 times 2.5, which gives us 20.4 metres, and because it's area, that's going to be metres squared. Right, Harper knows 1 tin of paint will cover 6 metres squared, so if we do 20.4 divided by 6, this is going to tell us how many tins we need. 3.4. So 3.4 tins, but you won't be able to buy 0.4 of a tin, so we're going to need to go to the next whole number of tins, which is 4. Question 13. Luca is going on holiday to Spain. The table below shows the temperature in Spain over the last 4 days. So it was 18 degrees on Monday, 24 degrees on Tuesday, 28 degrees on Wednesday, and 22 degrees on Thursday. Use this information to create a line graph. Okay, and they've given us our graph paper. So let's start down here. You can start sort of on the edge of the graph paper, or you can start on the graph paper. It really doesn't matter. But we've got 4 days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these big boxes for each day. So this will be my Monday. Just check off it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it'll be Monday, Tuesday. Oh, wake. What's that? Wednesday. And Thursday. And I'll label this because this is the day. Now I want to work out what scale we're going to have going up the side. Well, what's the highest temperature we've got? 28 is the highest, so we've got to go up at least as high as 28. Well, let's just think. Each of these is 10, so we could do 10, 20, 30. Yeah, that looks like it'll fit all right. You want to use at least half of the graph paper when you're drawing these. So 0, 10, 20, 30. And this is going to be our temperature in degrees Celsius. So now we can just plot our values. Now for Monday we've got 18 degrees. So I'm going to go in the middle of each of the days as my point. So Monday, here's 10. Halfway would be 15, so 16, 17, 18, there we go. Tuesday is 24 degrees. Because note they said a line graph here. Tuesday 24, so 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 24. Wednesday's the biggest, we've got 28 degrees. So I can count up, or actually I can say, well, let's start at 30 at the top, 29, 28 would be there. And then for Thursday we want 22 degrees. So 10, 20, 21, 22. And then we just use our ruler. To join all our points. And I'm going to give this a title. I'm going to call it Temperature in Spain. And there's everything that we need. Question 14. Alex's fish tank is in the shape of a cube. It has a side length of 48 centimetres. Alex wants a fish tank that has a 10% smaller volume. Alex thinks the new fish tank will hold less than 100,000 centimetres cubed of water. Is Alex correct? Right, well, it's a cube, so I'm just going to sketch a cube here. So cube, we've got a square face, so that's 48 centimetres, and that's 48 centimetres. And because it's a cube, it's 3D, so it's also going to have a depth of 48 centimetres. Now we're interested in the volume here. So what we've got to do to start off with is, well, we can work out what the current volume is of this. And the volume is the length times the width times the height, which in this case, because it's a cube, they're all the same. 48 times 48 times 48. Which gives us 110,592 centimetres cubed. Right. We want one that's got 10% smaller volume. So what we can do is we can work out 10% of this. So 10 out of 100 times our answer. So I've already got this in here. So we can multiply it by 10, divide it by 100. So 10% would be 11,059.2 centimetres cubed. Right, this is our 10%. If we want it 10% smaller, that means we need to take that off. So we want 110,592 minus 11,059.2. And if we do that, in fact, I'm going to put that in my memory. So we've got 110,592 minus memory recall, and we get 99,532.8, which is less than 100,000. Is Alex correct? Yes, he is. What we could have done, instead of working out 10% and taking it off, we could say if it's 10% smaller, that will leave 90%. So we could have worked out 90% of this directly, which would have given us this answer here. But doing this way is fine. 10%, take it off, it's just slightly longer, but it will get you to the same answer. And question 15. Charlie wanted to put string lights around this living room. We've got some of the measurements of the walls of the length of the walls of the living room. Charlie thinks the string lights will need to be longer than 24.5 metres in total. Is Charlie correct? Right, well, let's work out what the length is first of all. We haven't got all of the length though, so we're going to have to work some out. So first of all, we need this distance here. Well, this one is going to be the full length minus this distance. So it's going to be 728 minus 453. Yeah, because if we can see it's the difference between this one and this one. So we want 728 minus 453, which gives us 275 centimetres. We also need this length over here. Well, we haven't got the full length, but we know that it's going to be 265 for part of it, and then 230 for the other part. So 265 plus 230 gives us 495 centimetres. So we just need to add them all up. So if we're starting here, can pick any corner, we're going to have 728 plus 265 plus 275 plus 230, then plus 453, and finally plus this one, which is 495. So let's type those all in, making sure we don't make a mistake. It's very easy to type these in incorrectly, and I get a total of 2,446 centimetres. Charlie thinks the string lights will need to be longer than 24.5 metres. Okay, well, there's 100 centimetres in 1 metre. So if we multiply this by 100, we're going to get that answer in centimetres. 24.5 times 100, and we get 2,450 centimetres. Okay, well, 2,446 is less than 2,450, so no, Charlie is not correct. He thinks it needs to be this length. Actually, it can be a tiny bit shorter. And that's the end of the paper. So I hope you found it helpful. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel, have your notifications on to get updated when I add more videos, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.